They are called ley lines, dragon lines, song lines, spirit lines. The Irish call them fairy paths, and they will have sacred sites, temples, palaces, castles, cathedrals, churches, all placed on this grid. The ancients understood this sacred geography and used this geomagnetic energy for navigation, ceremonial routes, healing, psychic abilities, and accessing other realities. But one day, that knowledge was erased or removed from public records and libraries because it had the potential to empower humanity. And the ruling elite did not want that power shared. It became hidden from the peasants, dismissed as a fantasy, folklore, and mythology. Yet ancient civilisations connected by these invisible pathways. Although we cannot physically see these ley lines, many ancient landmarks appear to align along routes that were often used for trade or pilgrimages. The term ley lines was coined by Alfred Watkins in 1921 after he noticed striking alignments while travelling through the English countryside. But you also had William Stukeley in the 1700s who proposed from his research that Stonehenge was a Druid temple. These locations possess a strong magnetic or energetic presence, and many of them have historically become centres of wealth, influence, and power. Such sites can be found all across the world, with entire cities built around these energetic centres, often developing deep connections to trade, economics, finance, or political authority. One of the most well-known ley lines in England is the St Michael's line, which begins at St Michael's Mount in Cornwall to Hopton-on-Sea in Norfolk. However, these ley lines extend far beyond the stone circles and sacred sites of Britain, forming vast interconnected pathways that stretch across the entire world. The Great Pyramid of Giza is a central node in this global network of ley lines running through Easter Island, Machu Picchu, and Angkor Wat. This makes up the Great Circle ley line around the planet, with Machu Picchu in South America treated as a primary vortex on the Earth's grid. These megalithic sites can be found all across the world, and it was no coincidence that temples and sacred structures were built upon them. Ley lines were once used as an ancient navigation system, pathways through which civilizations could travel, harness spiritual energy, access higher realms of consciousness, and perhaps even traverse great distances. One of the most famous of these lines is the Sword of St. Michael, a legendary ley line said to connect 7 sacred monasteries stretching from Ireland to Israel. The line is believed to pass through Skellig Michael in Ireland, St. Michael's Mount, Mont St. Michael, Sacra di San Michele, the Sanctuary of Monte St. Angelo, the Simi Monastery, and Stella Marie Monastery in Israel. According to legend, this alignment symbolizes the strike delivered by St. Michael against the devil, casting him down into hell. Quitus Deus, who is like unto God, is traditionally associated with St. Michael, and according to Christian scripture and tradition, reflects the battle fought in heaven between the forces of light and dark. These monasteries came to be viewed as sacred strongholds and spiritual sanctuaries, places of protection against those darker forces. Those within them often saw themselves as spiritual warriors devoted to preserving and defending the human soul. You will find a lot of paranormal activity on these ley lines, and it is very well known in Irish mythology and still stands to this day in some parts, that by disturbing these paths, by building on them, blocking them, or destroying the fairy trees that mark them, it is believed to bring severe bad luck, including illness, death, or severe misfortune. Many cities across the world are built around these geometric alignments, and major financial and political centres were built at key ley points. London in the United Kingdom has a geometric pattern and a network of ley lines contributing to its sacred landscape. One of the major ley lines is a triangle connecting Boadicea's Mound on Hampstead Heath, the Tower of London and West Brompton Cemetery, with the Coronation ley line passing through some of these locations, which is part of London's larger geometric grid. Once you look into these ley lines, you will always find a vast amount of history, with Roman foundations, medieval rituals, transport routes, trade hubs, and later becoming industrial expansion. It is by no accident, but next to or around these megalithic and sacred sites around UK, Europe, worldwide, you will often find military bases or other types of installations. It is very likely that the higher end of the military-industrial complex understands this knowledge and use it for their own research and technology. It is very common that UFO sightings are spotted on these ley lines, and this could be connected and explained to how these craft can move between locations at such a fast speed. Each of the Irish Druids and British Druids were fully aware of how subterranean waterways flowed beneath the ley lines, and the Telluric currents were always potent in specific expanses of the Sceptrid Isle that was once called Albion and then became Britain. Perhaps it was the case that occult technology from the civilization of Atlantis was covertly brought into the British Isles during the antediluvian period and the Upper Paleolithic, where the usage of such occult technology was studied. Oxford and Cambridge University in England are also built on ley lines. At the time when Britain was called Albion, these university locations would have been Druidic schools. Albion was a very different landscape before the Romans invaded. Julius Caesar's first order when arriving on the shores of Britain was to destroy all Druids and sacred sites. And it makes you wonder, has this Roman Empire ever really died, or just disappeared into the shadows of society? Geomagnetic ley lines are a telluric current or energetic resonances of planet Earth. It is an electric current that flows underground or through the sea, resulting from natural and human-induced causes. These currents have extremely low frequency and traverse large areas nearby to or at the surface of planet Earth. Such pulsing telluric electricity can be seen with the Avebury lights or the Neolithic henge called Avebury Circle. Such forms of telluric electricity are also called the West Country Earth Lights and the Avebury Circle Lights. Alfred Watkins wrote 3 very important books which confirm that geomagnetic ley lines resonate in exact alignments across the United Kingdom of Great Britain. But there is also Michell, who revealed that the various stone monuments and earthworks around the planet, from the pyramids to Stonehenge to Teotihuacan, are not randomly strewn. He proposed there is a well-executed system of psychic centres connected worldwide and was used by the people of Atlantis. Locations such as Stonehenge on Salisbury Plain in England and the Neolithic henge called Avebury Circle are believed to be Neolithic temples of telluric electrical potency that incorporated geomagnetic ley lines and earth energies. For the Irish Druids, the British Druids and the Celtic Britons, these sites were revered for reasons of optimal biological health, and because the 4D holographic reality of the astral plane could be reached by entering the intersection of geomagnetic ley lines or nodes that functioned like dimensional portals. But this is the same in every culture. The Native Americans, Aborigines, Incas, Mayans, every ancient civilization understood these geomagnetic ley lines. There is a significant amount of skepticism around ley lines, largely because they fall outside the framework of mainstream Western science. It is also true that humans naturally look for patterns in their environments and can sometimes connect unrelated points in meaningful shapes or alignments. But when you study these lines alongside historical events that have occurred along them, you begin to perceive a deeper interconnected pattern or energetic relationship between sites. Ley lines are a form of hidden knowledge and are used within secretive or esoteric traditions, where they are used to be part of occult or symbolic systems of understanding space, power, and geography. The energetic grid around this planet is very real, and ley lines, dragon lines, song lines, spirit lines, fairy paths have been here since the birth of the planet and create an active grid spreading over the Earth. These ley lines may seem dormant, but they are fully active once you become aware to them, and they will help you access knowledge and a deeper understanding to the reality we are in. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, or you can join the members section, which has lots of exclusive content. Until the next video, I'll see you soon.